Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight as we dive into one of the wildest, most unpredictable nights in recent late-night television history. A night where the stage was set ablaze by a series of tariffs so outrageous and a series of jokes so piercing that the entire world of comedy, politics, and pop culture has been left in a state of frenzied excitement. Tonight, we explore in exhaustive detail how President Trump's latest move, raising import taxes on Chinese goods to an astronomical 104%, has provided a veritable goldmine for our favorite late-night hosts, turning economic policy into the most absurd and hilarious topic imaginable. It all unfolded on the previous night when President Trump's new tariff policy, announced to take effect at midnight on Wednesday, sent shockwaves across the nation. With tariffs reaching heights unimaginable in recent decades, the economic landscape was set for a dramatic overhaul, sparking debates in boardrooms and living rooms alike. For the comedians of the late-night world, however, this was the moment to step in and turn high-stakes economics into a stage for razor-sharp satire and irreverent humor. Throughout the evening, the air was charged with a mix of incredulity, amusement, and a touch of panic as the hosts grappled with the absurdity of policies that seemed to harken back to a time when the nation was on the brink of the Great Depression. From the outset, Desi Lydic of The Daily Show captured the collective mood of the night with a remark that perfectly encapsulated the chaos. Lydic noted with that signature blend of wit and disbelief that President Trump is out of control right now. She joked, "I'd say he's like a bull in a china shop, but at 104%, I can't afford to say that." Her quip was a masterful play on words, drawing a vivid picture of a force of nature wreaking havoc on a delicate ecosystem. One where porcelain is replaced by precious imports, and where the consequences of absurd tariffs ripple across every facet of the American economy. The humor didn't stop there. Desi continued to escalate the absurdity, challenging the logic of the tariffs by remarking, "Okay, this is getting really serious. We'll know exactly how serious once we ask China to do the math for us." With that, she invited the audience to question the very foundation of these economic policies, highlighting the incongruity between modern financial markets and decisions that seem to have been plucked from a bygone era. Jimmy Kimmel, with his inimitable deadpan delivery, added his own layer of sarcasm to the mix. He playfully critiqued Trump's approach by noting how China was quick to call the tariffs a mistake on top of a mistake, cleverly linking this sentiment to an earlier offhand remark by Trump when he joked about the birth of his son Eric. Kimmel's wit reminded everyone that when it comes to tariff policy, common sense has apparently taken a long holiday, leaving behind only a trail of confused exclamations and startled economists scrambling to revise their forecasts. His tongue-in-cheek suggestion that perhaps it was time for a tariff intervention or maybe even a class action lawsuit against import taxes had the audience laughing, even as it underscored the precariousness of an economy caught in the midst of such radical policy shifts. Then came Jimmy Fallon, who, with a characteristic blend of humor and self-deprecation, commented on the bizarre behavior of Trump regarding his economic policies. "Trump isn't messing around with China," Fallon quipped. "Now he's threatened to not invite them to his birthday party." His remark, delivered with an effortless coolness, further illuminated the surreal nature of a world where international trade disputes are likened to purrs. Our now social events, a realm where tariffs become as trivial as party etiquette and where the seriousness of national economic decisions is juxtaposed against the playful banter of a late-night monologue, as if the comedy of errors wasn't enough. To make everyone's head spin, Fallon also noted an unexpected consequence of the tariffs. Americans, in a panic, are now racing to buy iPhones before prices climb even higher. Yep, iPhones and toilet paper are two most essential bathroom items, he declared, drawing a laugh from the audience as he painted a picture of a nation frantically stocking up on the most prized commodities, a scenario reminiscent of historic periods of economic uncertainty when scarcity became the norm and every purchase felt like a race against time. Of course, the evening's humor wasn't solely confined to these zingers. The segment also featured a series of clever observations from Seth Meyers, whose calm, analytical approach provided a sobering counterpoint to the frenetic energy of his counterparts. He recalled a White House event celebrating the Los Angeles Dodgers World Series championship, during which President Trump remarked that the team showed America that it's not about individual glory, but I decided to invite you anyway. Meyers' comment was met with a burst of laughter, as it not only lampooned Trump's self-aggrandizing tendencies, but also subtly critiqued the disconnect between Trump's grandiose declarations and the underlying reality of his actions. His remarks about the tariffs, linking them to past economic disasters such as the Great Depression, resonated deeply with the audience, serving as a pointed reminder that the mistakes of the past are never as far away as we'd like to believe. Meyers did not hold back in his assessment of the situation. With his trademark mix of wit and gravitas, he pointed out that comparing today's tariff regime to a remedy that once led to the Great Depression is more than just a humorous exaggeration. It's a stark and unsettling reminder of the consequences of economic mismanagement. Last time it was tried, we had a Great Depression, he stated, eliciting a mix of laughter and contemplative silence from the audience as viewers pondered the chilling historical parallel. It was a line that cut through the noise, speaking to the failures of past policies and warning that repetition of such measures could lead us down a similarly perilous path. In the midst of all this comedy, the late-night host seamlessly wove in discussions about the broader implications of Trump's tariffs on the global economy. They painted vivid pictures of financial chaos where stock markets were battered, consumer goods became luxuries, and everyday necessities like iPhones, and even toilet paper was suddenly thrust into the spotlight as essential items. The absurdity of the situation was laid bare as jokes about runaway prices and panic buying became recurring themes throughout the segment. One particularly memorable moment was when Kimmel mused about the surreal image of a nation so destabilized by tariffs that a day of shopping felt more like a survival game than a routine errand. A commentary that resonated with viewers who have seen firsthand how quickly economic anxiety can ripple through society. The humor of that night was underscored by the genuine appreciation the host had for the role of comedy in times of crisis. They acknowledged that while these jokes may appear irreverent or even flippant on the surface, they play a crucial role in helping us navigate complex and often distressing political realities. By turning the lens of satire on Trump's tariff policies, the host not only provided a much-needed outlet for collective laughter, but also challenged us to take a step back and reflect on the deeper implications of these economic decisions. Their remarks, bristling with wit and insight, served as a reminder that in moments of uncertainty and turmoil, humor can act as a powerful means of coping, a bridge between the gravity of political events and the resilience of the human spirit. As we sit here tonight reflecting on the zany, unexpected, and often downright absurd commentary delivered by our favorite late-night comedians, it becomes clear that what we witnessed was much more than a routine comedy segment. It was a masterful blend of satire, history, and raw, unfiltered commentary, a performance that captured the zeitgeist of a nation caught between the pressures of globalization and the backlash of protectionist policies. Trump's tariffs, with their astronomical 104% rate on Chinese goods, have set off a chain reaction that is being felt across the board, from the boardrooms of multinational corporations to the smartphone screens of everyday Americans. And in this climate of economic uncertainty, the late-night hosts have taken it upon themselves to shine a light on the irony, the contradictions, and the wild, unpredictable nature of the modern and marketplace. In their unrelenting pursuit of comedic truth, the hosts have transformed the dense subject of international trade into an accessible, hilarious, and deeply resonant commentary on the state of our economy. Their jokes are not merely punchlines. They are reflections on how political decisions shape the everyday lives of millions, often in ways that are as astonishing as they are absurd. Whether it's through the lens of a bull in a china shop, the panic-driven rush to buy, consumer goods before prices spike, or the surreal comparisons between tariff policies and the financial disasters of the past. The humor of that night served as a cathartic release, a reminder that while the challenges of our economic system are real, they can also be met with a spirit of resilience and, yes, a good deal of laughter. Throughout the segment, the interplay between humor and historical context was particularly striking. The host took us on a journey through time, a journey that connected the economic policies of the present to the great financial calamities of the past. They reminded us that while the Trump administration's tariffs may be heralded as a bold, new approach, the lessons of the Great Depression and the policies that precipitated it should serve as stark warnings. The last time it was tried, we had a Great Depression, Stewart declared. A statement that was both a joke and a sobering reminder of the cyclical nature of economic missteps. Such remarks not only elicited roars of laughter, but also spurred reflective silence among viewers, prompting us all to consider the long-term ramifications of policies that prioritize short-term gains over sustainable economic health. Amidst the fast-paced humor, there was also an undercurrent of genuine concern. The hosts acknowledged that in a world where the economy can turn on a dime and where the ripple effects of policy decisions can lead to widespread financial instability, the use of satire is not just a comedic tool, but a necessary means of highlighting potential dangers. They pondered the implications of tariffs that may drive up prices for everyday essentials, leaving consumers scrambling to secure items that have suddenly become symbols of economic scarcity. The juxtaposition of iPhones and toilet paper as essential goods served as a witty yet poignant illustration of how far the country could be pushed by policies that, on paper, are meant to protect domestic industries, but in practice create a host of new challenges. As the night unfolded, the energy in the studio became almost palpable, a shared understanding that despite the hilarity of the jokes, the stakes were incredibly high. The performance was a tour de force of political satire, a moment when comedy transcended its role as mere entertainment to become a form of critical commentary on the state of our nation. The host's ability to navigate the complexities of economic policy with a mix of irreverence, historical insight, and a healthy dose of self-deprecating humor was nothing short of extraordinary. Their performances, bursting with spontaneous wit and razor-sharp observations, provided a much-needed relief from the often overwhelming seriousness of contemporary politics. And they did so with an elegance and sincerity that left viewers both laughing and thinking. In their final remarks as the segment drew to a close, the host collectively underscored a theme that has resonated throughout the evening, that in the face of daunting economic challenges, laughter remains one of our most powerful weapons. They reminded us that while the numbers and the policies on a page may be intimidating, the human capacity for humor and for critical thought is an enduring beacon of hope. With their clever jokes and incisive commentary, the late-night comedians have once again shown that even the most complex and polarizing issues can be reimagined through the lens of comedy, a lens that transforms fiscal uncertainty into a shared experience of catharsis and connection. As we wrap up tonight's report, we are left with a profound understanding that while President Trump's tariffs may have unleashed a series of unforeseen economic consequences, they have also provided a fertile ground for creativity, reflection, and yes, unabashed laughter. The dazzling interplay of satire, historical analogy, and sheer absurdity that characterize this late-night segment serves as a reminder that even in the most challenging times, humor can be a unifying force, a way to bridge divides and to remind us all that sometimes the best remedy for a chaotic world is the simple, cathartic act of laughing together. Thank you for joining us on this in-depth exploration of one of the most electrifying and thought-provoking nights in recent late-night television history. We hope you found this report not only enlightening, but also a reminder of the enduring power of comedy to help us navigate the turbulent waters of modern politics. You